This tutorial is for 5th grade, Module 6, Lesson 14. In this lesson, we're going to use ordered pairs to help us draw parallel lines on the coordinate plane. I'm going to start by labeling both axes on my coordinate plane. So the vertical axis is the y-axis, and the horizontal axis is the x-axis. The first direction says to identify the locations of points P and R, which means I need to find the ordered pairs that identify those points. I'll start with point P. I'm going to begin at the origin, and I'll move over across the x-axis to the 6 because the P is above the 6. So its x-coordinate is 6. If I travel up that line vertically, I can see that the P would be across from point 4 on the y-axis. So its y-coordinate is 4. We'll do the same thing for R. I'm going to start at the origin. I'll go across the x-axis, and I can see that R is at 11 on that axis. So that's 11 for the x-coordinate. Travel up the line vertically, and I can see that the R is across from the 6 on the y-axis. So its ordered pair is 11, 6. The next direction says to draw line PR. So I'm going to draw a line that goes through both of these points. And there we have line PR. The next directions say to plot these coordinates on the plane. So I need to plot point S at 6, 7. So I'll start at the origin, move over 6 units and up 7 units. Put that point there and label it S. And now I'll plot point T at 11, 9. Start at the origin, move over 11 units and up 9 units, and plot that point, label it T. Now I'm going to draw line ST through those 2 points. The next question asks us to circle the correct description. So I have 2 choices here. This first choice says that line PR is perpendicular to line ST. So this is the symbol for perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines intersect, and where they meet each other, a right angle is formed. The other option is that PR and ST are parallel lines. This is the symbol for parallel lines. Well, we can see that our lines are running in the same direction and they are the same distance apart. S and P are 3 units apart at one end. T and R are 3 units apart at the other end. This means that my 2 lines are parallel. So this would be the correct option. The next question says to plot 2 points, U and V, so that line UV is parallel to line PR. Well, I know since my lines have to be parallel that the points need to be the same distance apart from both ends of the line. So if I start at line PR and drop down 2 units and label that point U, I can then go up to point R and drop down 2 units and label that point V. Now when I connect those 2 points, I know that I will have a line that is parallel to PR. So let's first record our ordered pair for point U. So if I start at the origin, I move over 6 and up 2. So its ordered pair is 6, 2. And then for point V, I would start at the origin, move over 11 and up 4. So its ordered pair is 11, 4. Now I will connect the points to draw line UV. And there I have line UV. It is parallel to PR because the lines remain the same distance apart at each point. Let's look at another example on another coordinate plane. Here I have points E and F, and I'm going to show the ordered pairs for those 2 points. So if I look at E, I move over 1 unit, and when I travel up, I can see that the y-coordinate is in between 4 and 3. So the y-coordinate would be 3 1/2. So the ordered pair would be 1, 3, and 1/2. For point F, I will move across my x-axis, and that is at 3. And then moving up, I can see that the point is in between the 1 and the 2 on the y-axis, so that's 1.5. Its ordered pair is 3, 1.5. And now I will use those points to draw line EF. The next direction says to draw 2 points L and M so that line EF is parallel to line LM. And we're going to record the coordinates of those points as well. So again, if I want my line to be parallel to EF, I need to make sure that the line stays a set distance apart at every point. So if I start at point E, and I'm just going to randomly choose to move over 3 units from the E, and I will label that point L. That means if I drop down to point F, I need to move over 3 units as well, and I'll label that point M. Now, to find the ordered pair of these points, I'll start at the origin. I can see that my L is at 2 1/2 on the x-axis, so I'll write that down. And then if I travel vertically, I can see that the L is at 3 1/2 on the y-axis. Do the same thing for M. Start at the origin, move over. The M is above the 4 1/2 mark on the x-axis, and it is across from the 1 1/2 mark on the y-axis. And now I will connect those points to draw line LM. And here we have line LM, and it is parallel to line EF. The last question says, explain the pattern found between the coordinates of EF and LM. Well, I've written the ordered pairs right next to the points so we can look at the pattern a little bit better. If I look at E and its corresponding point L, I will notice that they both have the same y coordinate. And if I look at point F and its corresponding point, point M, they also have the same y coordinate. Another pattern I see is if I look at the x coordinate on E, it is 1. The x coordinate on L is 2 1/2. So those numbers are 1 1/2 apart from each other. And if I look at the x coordinate on F compared to the x coordinate for M, I go from 3 to 4 1/2. So those coordinates are 1 1/2 units away from each other too. So there are some patterns to be found between corresponding points on those parallel lines. And those patterns are easier to find when we plot those lines on a coordinate plane.